Okay, now it's starting. Welcome, everybody. It's Quacking Duck
and Sleepy Reader
and her assistant Sleepy Reader.
It's
Actually,
kind
I've
of
got
the other way around,
I'm kind of the other way around today because
it's kind of the other way around in this video because Dad's gonna share some comic
I've got
book
basically
stuff.
a show and tell, starting with showing you a gift I received from someone I hope is everyone's friend here on YouTube. The comic book Aesthete, Ron, sent me a gift. It was a act of kindness, not a random act of kindness, because he and I have been talking on and off about the wave of Filipino writers, artists in the 70s, and one of my favorites, and I think one of his favorites too, Alex Nino, who he met at a convention. And he bought himself a print, and he bought me a print and sent it to me. And I was really moved by that. It was really thoughtful of him. Nino really is like a standout, unique artist from that period. I didn't even know he was still around or still in the U.S. And I believe that that CBA, Comic Book Aesthete, Ron, has some Philippine origins of his own. So here is the amazing piece of artwork signed to me by Alex Nino. He has a very interesting signature and his own unique take on a bunch of the standard Marvel superheroes. I just love his style. No one else really can do what he does for whatever reason. So yeah, and I think he did a lot of black and white work for Marvel. Some, I think, appears in some like backup stories and horror anthologies and stuff for DC, and also did a lot for Warren magazines, Creepy and Eerie, and 1984 and 1994. So a big thank you to Ron. I will put his Comic Book Aesthete channel information down below, and if you have not checked it out, check it out. I think Ron, like me, is an older dad, and I don't know if he has a 9-year-old or how old his daughter is, but he has a daughter too, so we also have that in common. And so then I've been having lots of dribs and drabs of interesting stuff come in. I guess mostly from eBay. I've been going through an eBay phase. Normally I like to shop at the stores nearby, but once something triggers you to get on eBay, and that's the first thing I'll show you here, then you start looking around at more and more things on eBay. I finally, you want to hold it up?
The bag feels so nice.
You like that Mylar?
It just feels so nice.
That love of Mylar will trap her into the world of comics forever. So I have for several years now been dancing around trying to find a copy of 2001 number 8, the key issue appearance of Machine Man.
The worst name for a robot.
Right. What a clever name for a robot. Machine Man. I'm going to come up with my own original one called Machine Woman. But so all the other issues of this you can get very inexpensively, even the number 1 issue. And I paid more for this than I wanted to, but I figured I would just get a copy. Now I can read all of 2001 as it was meant to be read. So, yeah, one of the most minor of Jack Kirby's creations, Machine Man. And I think I've showed in some other videos how I've been picking up some treasury editions from eBay. And
the Hulk is rampaging.
And I already got one Hulk. I thought I'd get another one. This is one that I guess kind of attempts to... includes the reprints of the ones where Hulk goes to Counter-Earth to try to finish up the story of Warlock and Man-Beast, who became the president of Counter-Earth. So maybe for those of us who aren't big fans of Trump, that might be ring a little bit of a bell. But I think Man-Beast was supposed to be an attack on Richard Nixon. Not too many of the comic book creators were fans of Richard Nixon back then. Are you a fan of Richard Nixon, Quacking Duck? Do you remember who he is?
Is he like the president when you were younger?
Yeah, when I was about your age, he was the president. And there's also an original Hercules story in here by creators who are not that well remembered anymore. Mary Jo Duffy, one of the stronger female voices at Marvel in the late 70s and 80s. And an artist named Ricardo Villamonte, who I mostly remember as an inker. The rest, I think, is Herb Trimp.
Herb
Trimpy. I keep getting told. There's all these names I mispronounce, and ones I know from my childhood. There's also the Inhumans
even
in
more
here too.
names.
Right. How would you pronounce Trimpe?
Trim.
That's how I pronounce it. I pronounce it Trimp, but apparently it's Trimpy.
Trimpa.
People who knew him have told me.
Trimpa.
I believe they knew. Then, I don't quite know why, but I saw this inexpensive British version of Savage Sword of Conan. This is, I think, the cover of Savage Sword of Conan number 2 or 3, but the British version, this is number 14. And there's a Conan story in here drawn by Pablo Marcos, which is unusual. Usually you see him inking it. And then a Solomon Kane with art by Steve Gann. Anyone remember Steve Gann anymore? Maybe was he one of the Filipinos? And then a Frank Thorne Red Sonja. So I bet some of these were originally published in color and then for the Brit audience were put into Savage Sword of Conan. I don't know why they mix, they use the same title, but they mix and match the art and the stories for the British audience. Why, I don't know. They didn't want the Brits to read Conan in the same order that we did over here in the U.S., no doubt. I remember noticing that when I lived in Switzerland when I was 14, I picked up a bunch of British black and white reprints, and they were just all over the place. They did not work the same way the American Marvels did. Then I've got a bunch of, a few trades that I've gotten. One of them is this Color Your Own Marvel Masters. And it is so cool to see these pictures, these classic cover images from the Silver and maybe Bronze Age. That's a Kirby 2-page spread from the Bronze Age, the Eternals. So cool to see them in black and white. I think I'm going to buy, I want to color them in, but I think I'm going to buy another one just to have the black and white stuff. There's Ant-Man. And I don't know what this Steranko picture comes from. Is it from inside a comic or what? Or a poster? Yeah, so you got a lot of your classic covers and then some deeper cuts of stuff that is less. Why some of it has the logo on it and some doesn't, I don't know. Yeah, it's funny that there's whoever put this together liked Kirby's Eternals because there's a surprising amount of Kirby Eternals in here. And of course, a huge amount of Kirby in general. Just a new way to enjoy the classic images. Boy, would I have loved a coloring book like this when I was 10 or 9. But then I got a $10 trade of Rock Candy Mountain. I've heard someone talk about this being very good. I can't remember who. And I finally got volume 4 of The Sixth Gun, the hardback. This is the last volume they've published. I assume it finishes out the run, but I guess I'll figure that out. I haven't taken it out of the wrapper yet.
Shouldn't there be 6 books in The Sixth Gun?
Oh, that's a good point. So maybe there's... Of course, each one of these books, I think, is 2 or 3 trades worth.
But shouldn't there be 6 books in The Sixth Gun?
There should be.
That's a violent comic book, right? One that I
Yeah, well, it's a horror comic book.
And it looks kind of yuck.
You're right. So there's a lot of monsters and things. It's not drawn in a very realistic style, but there is a lot of violence in it. Now, yeah, as I remember, although this is a beautiful edition, the one thing they didn't do is put really awesome binding in there. But most of these pages have wide gutters anyway, but still, it's a shame. And the color comes out a little different because they use matte paper in the, oh, I've got crazy things going on behind me. They use matte paper instead of glossy regular paper. Yeah, there's a bit of a gutter loss problem there. But there aren't too many pages like that. But still, they should have, with such a deluxe volume, I mean, it's huge. What's going on behind me? It's huge. They should have just gone for the good binding. My perennial complaint. But speaking of good binding, I bet this one will. It's from Dark Horse. It is the Rook Archives Volume 2. For whatever reason, I am both collecting these hardbacks of the Rook and picking up the original magazines when I can. Of course, there's no real worry. There's no need for seeing all the way to the binding here, but this does have good binding. So anyway, I've become a binding obsessive. That looks like Vampirilla. I don't know if he meets Vampirilla or they just included Vampirilla stories in here.
Vampirilla's on the cover.
Is she on the cover? Oh, you're right. I'm not even paying attention. So Rook and Vampirilla must have teamed up. He's a time traveler and she's an alien, so that makes sense.
An alien?
Yep. A scantily clad alien vampire. Don't you meet those every day?
No, I've never heard of a scantily clad alien vampire.
And just today in the mail, I got a poster. It's going to kind of complete my quadrilogy of posters on the wall of my current office. I got it through eBay, but it's new. It's from, I guess, allposters.com. Will sell through eBay or sell through their own website. Somehow it seemed eBay's search algorithms are easier for me to find things there. I've gotten posters from them before, but boy, is this look tightly wrapped. You want to help me unveil this poster, Bugaloo? Oh. Quacking Duck, you want to help me unveil this poster? You can hold one end and I'll hold the other. I can't unroll it without your help. Whoa.
Can I bounce it up and down a few times before I
Okay, here, you hold this end. You want to bounce it up and down?
Okay, now we're going.
Okay, you hold the bottom end. So this is one of my many favorite John Romita Spider-Man
Man
stories.
spider.
It's quite big. Man spider, as some people would say. Shall we hold it sideways like this? There you go. So that will be up on my wall soon. And
It's gonna be hard to fit.
that's my haul again. Thanks again to Ron, CBA, Comic Book Aesthete. Check out his channel.
Now this
Meeting
looks
in
like
the
a
middle
medieval
there.
scroll.
I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.